evening, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Wave Network and Sports Corner with the Conn Man. Hope y'all feeling pretty good this evening. Tonight, I have with me a very special guest. He goes by the name of Melvin Franklin Jr., son of Melvin Franklin, co-founder of the Temptations. Looking forward to having him come on the show. I don't want to talk too much because I want to give him his flowers, give his dad his flowers, and talk about growing up in a legendary family with the Temptations. And, I wanted him to talk about, everybody knows about the, I guess you would call the end when they were legendary and established and touring and all that. But I want to discuss what was it like being a child growing up in the Temptations family. As you know, the Temptations back in them days, they had to deal with the segregation and all that it entailed. I wanted him to speak on that as well. I don't want to give out too many details because I want him to talk about what he had experienced as a child. And he's doing some great things now. By the way, he's carrying on a tradition, and hopefully he's coming on there. I think he might be him. Hopefully it is. I think he's coming on. Again, as a young child, growing up in the 60s and the 70s, the Temptations were a staple in many households. And it's an honor and a privilege to have him come on my show so he can talk about his experiences as a child growing up with the legendary Temptations. Imagine that. Think about it. Think about that. We all know the stories about the Temptations and a great movie that was put out. And, there's a lot of great things that happened. There were some things that, didn't turn out so well. But, the Temptations still have carried on. And Melvin Jr. is part of the Temptations Review. And so he's carrying on the tradition that his father established. I want to talk about how and why were the Temptations started, how did it originate, and talk about the dance steps and how was it like. I'm very excited to have him on the show because I have so many fond memories, of the Temptations. I never got to see them live, but I did witness James Brown, which, by the way, was phenomenal. And what was funny is fast forward, I saw James Brown when I was about 16 years old at the Providence Civic Center, and when he was in his heyday. And you know what? I couldn't talk. I was in awe. He was that good. The band was that tight. It was phenomenal. Fast forward, on my birthday, June 11th, check this out. James Brown came to Bedford in the Zeitarian. I got to see him, and 3 months later, he passed away. Well, again, I got my man, Melvin Franklin Jr. in the building. It's an honor and a privilege to have you on my show, my brother. Melvin, I've been trying to have you come on my show for a minute, and you've been very busy traveling all over the world. And, I wanted you to come on my show first and foremost to give your father his flowers and to give you your flowers as well. So this show is not going to be about me. It's going to be about you and your dad and the legacy and so much more. So, Melvin, could you let the viewers know who are tuning who may not know that much about you? Can you let them know something about you, your history, your grind?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I appreciate you welcoming me onto your platform. What I always want to do is do my best not to misrepresent the legacy that I am blessed and fortunate to carry. Right. So that is foremost in my decision making. everything that I do, I have to keep this brand front and center, because my father dedicated his entire life to it. And the fact that it has outlived him. He just this past February, we celebrated his 31st year since he left us. And here we are 31 years later, and we're still discussing him. That's not to be taken lightly.
No.
And so everything that I approach, I keep that in mind. I do my best to keep that in mind, not to do anything to tarnish what he worked so hard to establish, if that makes sense.
It sure does. Melvin, let's go back, if you could. How did your dad come up with the idea to form the Temptations? And I know you was obviously very young, but what gave him the insight to take on this huge responsibility?
Well, all due credit and respect goes to Dr. Otis Williams.
Yes, absolutely.
The architect of it all. But small disclaimer, I was not even a twinkle in my daddy's eye. Right, as the folks would say. I'm an 80s baby. Right? So I was nowhere on the scene when all of this was transpiring. That being said, my father was 14, from what I understand, 13, 14 years old when he experienced his first bout recording professionally with a group called the Voice Masters.
Okay.
And Otis Williams had his group, and he was looking for a bass, right? And as the story goes, they met and became fast friends. Now, as far as the concept of the Temptations is concerned, there's a lot of debate as to how exactly that name came to be. I tend to lean on what Otis said, because the genesis of it all was Otis Williams and the Distance. Right? So it would make sense that if the name needed to be changed, he would be instrumental in the changing of that name. So I tend to lean more towards how he describes it as far as the establishing of the name, the Temptations. But the group was already solidified, right? They were just deciding on a name. As far as success, so to speak, that didn't come for a while, right?
But go ahead.
I was just saying that's all part of the grind, right? You put the reps in and you do the work, and you let the results take care of themselves. They never quit when a lot of others would have quit and did quit, right? And they never did. And that's why the brand is still as strong as it is 60 plus years later.
Melvin, I know you probably weren't born then, but before you came on, I was discussing, they know about the legendary Temptations and all the success. You brought up the fact it wasn't always that way. And the grind, the journey, and they were around, as you know, it was kind of rough back in the days, with segregation and dealing with all that, you know what I mean? And, the sacrifices they had to make and what the families had to sacrifice as well.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
take us on that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad you bring that up. They performed at hotels that they weren't, or venues with hotels attached that they weren't legally allowed to stay in. Right? Like, this is a completely different time. There were instances when they stood firm as a unit and demanded the crowd be desegregated or they wouldn't perform. And their wishes were granted. This is during the height of the civil rights movement.
Yes, absolutely.
And they, without really trying, they kind of became the voice of a generation. And to be globally renowned, to be spoken in the same breath as a group like the Beatles, it brings about a different level of responsibility. And they understood that, and they embraced. They didn't run from that.
Absolutely not. I think back, because I was around back in them days. You know what I mean? I'm a little older than you. I was there. I was around. You know what I mean? And I witnessed a lot of it. So I give so much credit to what they had to endure. And like you said, they didn't quit when others would. You know what I mean? God bless. I don't know if I could, to be honest with you. I mean, what they had to go through was amazing. And to stick with it, because that's what they believed in, that's what they loved. I mean, that's honorable, memorable in so many ways. And, back in them days, there were so many great groups. I'm sure you can attest to that. That was, to me, the best era. All the great groups. And again, the struggle, the journey, they kind of were all in it together in certain ways, I guess. You know what I mean? And, I don't know. I was so excited to have you on the show because Temptations are one of my favorite groups of all time. And I remember way back in the day as a young kid, man, you don't even know. Our household, it was crazy. Let me tell you, it was off the chain. But it was enjoyable, and it just brings back so when talking to you and hearing your voice brings back so many memories, man. I'm keeping it real. It brings back so many memories, man. And I love your dad, love the Temptations. I love the whole thing. Now, again, this is about you and your dad. So I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I want you to let the viewers know maybe what they don't know or what they.
Well, this is your show, sir.
Yes, so, it is.
This is not, you never have to worry about taking up too much.
Big mouth. I talk all day. You know what I mean? That's why I have guests like you. You know what I mean? To recognize you, your dad, and that's why I have entertainers. Sports is my show, of course, but I have entertainers as well as athletes, fitness, wellness. I mean, that's what I want my show to be diversified in all angles. You know what I mean? And that's why I need you on the show, because you know and experience so much. And as we go on this conversation, we're going to talk about what you're doing now, which is unbelievable, by the way. Melvin, on my show, I don't really do that much research. I rather go by instinct. I don't do all that. I go by with my mind and go with the flow. And I went back and looked at all the highlights and what you're doing now. I'll let you talk about that. And, it's such a beautiful damn thing. It really is. You know what I mean? So getting back to you again, What memories do you have of your dad? And another thing, you had the, the ability or the accessibility, because look who the temptation, all the musicians he played for that you get. I'm sure you got to know all of them. What was it like? Because we as fans can only imagine. What was it like?
Well, what like precisely? I want to make sure
you got to witness and got to know the Temptations, other groups, other people they came in contact with that folks like us never had that accessibility.
Right. Okay. So the short answer is neither did I.
Okay.
I was not around for a lot of the industry interactions.
Okay.
For the moments that I was around, it was more so, and while I did get to be exposed to the quote unquote life, it was more so me just spending quality time with my father.
Exactly.
So all of the celebrity and the fame and everything that didn't really register until later, because I was still really, really young.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I just was appreciative of the opportunity to connect with my father, because of his work schedule, right? I rarely ever get to see him.
Right.
And so those few times when I was able to connect, it was more so just, okay, just trying to spend quality time with my dad. So it wasn't necessarily, getting to know all of the other celebrities, hobnobbing and jet setting and everything else. Right. Oh, I will say that I will share this with you. At my father's funeral, I was still quite young, so forgive my naivete for this particular moment, but as I'm sitting in the audience, in the row in front of me, 2 chairs to the left of me, sits Michael Jackson. And mind you, my father is in the front of this church, laying in a box, and we're all here mourning him.
Right.
And there's some serious cognitive dissonance going on, because for me, I'm like, okay, yeah, my father is up. That's Michael Jackson, right?
Right.
My dad is, I can't believe that's Michael Jackson, right? Like this was real, so again, forgive me. I was, really, really young. But so I don't want to pretend as though there was zero exposure. But for me, I guess my focus was more so just trying to know and learn where I came from. As a young boy, I'm looking for my identity.
Couple of things I wanted to bring up. Your dad had a nickname, Blue. I did my little research. I did a little bit of something. Can't let the viewers know why they called him Blue.
Well, there are It depends on who you ask. It depends on who you ask. So I wasn't around, so I cannot verify or deny any of them. I just know that that was in fact his nickname, and as such, I now am privileged to be referred to as Blue as
Oh,
well.
wow. That's great. Wow, that's awesome, man. Awesome. You know, Melvin, your dad passed away at the age of 52. You know, I can relate to that. My dad passed away at the age of 46, so I can relate very closely to that as well. And your dad also received the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, which is an honor and a privilege as well.
Yes, I was able to be at that ceremony to accept on his behalf. Well, his Kim accepted on his behalf, but I was welcomed onto the stage with the acceptance ceremony or whatnot. So,
If you don't mind, I'm gonna get a little personal with you. What are your fondest memories of being with your dad, if you can share that?
I think will probably be being on stage with him.
Wow.
That will probably be my fondest memory. Doing the exit step as they do their closer and they're exiting stage left, stage right if you're on stage, and you know, me being able to participate in that would definitely be up there.
Yeah, I can understand that. Now, Melvin, okay, your dad, legendary, all that. When did you decide, first of all, that you had talent? And what made you decide or think that you could possibly be successful in the endeavor that you chose?
Well, to be honest, I did not choose this. This chose me.
Okay. Okay.
This was as they say, this was not on my bingo card, right? You know, if you would have asked me when I was younger what my life trajectory would be, I would have never predicted this in a million years. But you know, life has a way of guiding you towards where you're supposed to be. And, you know, when you just let go and let God, you stop pursuing things and you start attracting things. And again, I was not looking to do this, but I got a phone call. Well, actually, that's a lie. I got a message on MySpace. For those who remember MySpace, I got a message on MySpace, which turned into a phone call, which turned into a visit, which turned into an idea that birthed where I am today. But again, I am actively pursuing now because I understand purpose. I understand the legacy that I'm blessed to carry. So now I am actively pursuing, but this was not my original choice.
Okay.
Right.
Now, Melvin, as I stated, your dad, legendary, the whole 9 yards. Now, I'm gonna make a comp. You know, like, because I'm in the sports world. You know, I'll just give you a little bit of an example. Let's say young Michael Jordan, all right, and he has a son. A lot of people expect the son to live up to their dad's legacy. You know where I'm going with this. Did you feel any pressure?
I have told people there's a reason why Michael Jordan's kids don't play ball. I've told people this time and time again. Like, there's a reason why. Like, it's, no disrespect, but there's a reason why they just don't. I mean, the Magic Johnson kid went the whole opposite direction. Like, I'm just saying, no disrespect. Again, I'm just like, the consequences of living in the shadow of such a giant.
That's why I wanted to talk. Yes.
You okay, the only way to escape is to do something completely different.
Absolutely.
Right? And so, when you have that type of legacy established, right? The last thing you want to be is a laughing stock, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's unfortunate. You do talk sports, so I'll keep it in that realm. It's unfortunate what's transpiring right now, what's been transpiring for the past couple of years. However, it is transpiring all this talk about Bronny James, right?
Oh, yes.
Now, fair or not, again, I'm not here to offer an opinion. I'm making an observation. Right? The criticism is there.
Oh, it's there.
Right? And because of the shadow coming up under, so me being in the position that I'm in, I am always cognizant of this. And I am never, ever confused. I know I'm not him. But I will do my best to represent him.
And you sure have. Now, let's talk about what you're doing now. I want the viewers to learn about what you're doing now, how you went to Germany. Let the viewers know about the Landed Temptations review. I did my homework, boss. Let them know about that. Let them know what you're doing now, how they can go check you out, and how they get in touch with you. Like I said, I'm here to give you your flowers, my friend.
Well, I appreciate that, sir. I am blessed and fortunate to sing with Glenn Leonard's Temptations review. And it is truly, truly a blessing, not just for the opportunity to, again, carry this legacy and travel the world and perform in front of diverse crowds and pay homage, to one of the best to ever do it. Of course, I'm a bit biased, right? So the greatest to ever do it. But while all of this is amazing, it's awesome. But I want to make sure I say this correctly. If my father is the Michael Jordan of bass singing, and I feel that he is. Right?
No doubt. There's no doubt.
My father is the Michael Jordan of bass singing, right? The mere comparison is an honor. Think about all of the cats before Kobe, right? Before Kobe, because Kobe, I am a shameless Kobe apologist. right? So, the Kobe is the closest thing to Mike that we have ever or will ever see. It's
Everybody
Mike,
knows that. Yeah,
Kobe, and
everybody
everybody else,
knows
in my own personal opinion.
that.
But everybody who was somebody in the league, the first person they were compared to was Mike. Well, he's no Mike.
It's still going on.
Exactly. He's no Mike. And the closer you get, oh wow, okay. Well, is he in the same conversation as Mike? Is he in the and so when it comes to this particular situation, when people tell me, oh my gosh, you sound so much like him. Now, in my mind, I know I don't sound like that man. Right. But the fact that people would even think to compare me to that, like
Yes.
that is the utmost honor. And so what's really amazing about this whole thing is when Glenn Leonard, who I sing with now, when he first came into the Temptations, my father mentored him.
Oh,
when he came into the Temps, his debut show was going to be the Midnight Special. And he moved in with my father, and they worked 10, 12 hours a day to get him up to speed to be able to be ready, performance ready for that television Midnight Special. And now here I am being mentored by him.
Wow.
All these years later,
That's
right? Like,
wow.
you cannot tell me God doesn't exist. Right?
That's
Like
amazing.
that is you
Oh,
cannot
man.
script this type of thing.
Oh,
Like that's mind blowing, right?
that's special, man. That's special, man.
So
Wow. So talk about the review. Talk about where you guys have performed, where you're going to be performing. Because the show's seen all over the country, Melvin. So, hopefully, you may be able to get come out my way.
Sometime soon, hopefully a city near you.
I'm in the Boston area, so you know what I mean? So we would love to have you come down here. But anyway.
Love to be there. We would love to be there, man. I know we're going to New York this summer. And we have, let's see, we're going to Dallas, and we're going back over to Europe this summer as well. And I have to check the itinerary. I know that I'm preparing for the big tour we do during the holiday season, because Glenn Leonard is Mr. Silent Night, right? So
yes.
the greatest Christmas song ever recorded. You feel me? So yeah, we have quite a few opportunities coming up overseas, for that season. And then I'm sure I'm forgetting some stuff. I just basically wait on Cord to send me the itinerary.
Now, Melvin, I want to hit you with another one, man, because I feel like me and you right now. I could ask this. Do you, because your dad was known for Old Man River, do you perform that?
Yes, sir, I do.
And when you do, does that bring back memories of when your dad sang?
Well, I do a lot of studying of him singing that song. That is his signature song, and I want to do my best when delivering that. So I've seen quite a few renditions of it, and it still amazes me how many different ways one can sing the same song. And that's something that he was a master of. Like, he never sung the song the same way twice. And as I am again following in his footsteps, attempting to emulate him, I'm looking to emulate a sound, and the sound itself is constantly shifting when it comes to this particular song, right? And again, it just speaks to his gifting, right? It's the way he's able to sing it powerfully in one performance, or softly, almost conversationally in another performance, or more dramatic and in your face in yet another performance. Like, just these different nuances in his approach. Like, it's really amazing to observe.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Melvin, I could talk to you for about hours off air. You know what I mean? but we on air now. So, Mel, how can people get in touch with you? If people want to possibly book you guys in the review, the Temptation review, let the viewers know. I want people to check you out.
Absolutely. I appreciate that.
Well,
find us on Facebook at Glenn Leonard's Temptations Review. Right, you can check the page out for booking. You can look for Celebrity Direct or Cord Costler on Facebook. He's also attached to the Glenn Leonard's Temptations Review page, and you can follow me at Melvin Franklin Jr. everywhere.
That's awesome. Now, one more question, Melvin. When you guys, whoever developed the review, what was it like? What were you guys exactly looking for to be a member of the Temptation Review?
Well, the Glenn Leonard has had his Temptations Review for well over 25 years. I'm recently becoming a part of a train that's already been moving.
Okay.
Right. So I'm the rookie. Yeah. So and they do not hesitate to remind me at every turn.
I'm sure. No, but also, again, I scroll through Facebook, and you got your own podcast. Talk about that.
Oh, well, yeah, we were raising money for a mural for my father.
Wow.
And you guys can go to melvinfranklinlegacy.com, and you can see all of the details there. Fox News did a piece on us. We're getting the mural put up on the side of a historical landmark. It's like, all the details are there at melvinfranklinlegacy.com. But it's my sister and my niece put together the crowdfunding campaign to achieve this. And I just pretty much, all I did was just attach my horse to their wagon, and we were fortunate enough to gain a little bit of traction, raise a little bit of awareness, but that's really what that is aimed towards, excuse me, because the GoFundMe is still open for those who want to contribute. So again, please go check out www.melvinfranklinlegacy.com. And again, you can see all the details about the mural, where it's going, the information on the historic landmark. You can see the Fox News piece that they did on it with the mayor of Mobile, Alabama. Like, it's real, with my niece on there live, front and center. So super proud of her. But yeah, go check that out, melvinfranklinlegacy.com.
You know, Mel, before I let you go, is there anything that maybe I didn't ask that I should have, or is there anything that you might have wanted to let the viewers know that maybe I didn't bring up that you want to respond to, or anything of that nature?
I guess, yeah, one thing, not really for the viewers per se, well, I guess maybe for the viewers, but yo, this is a sports show, man. We ain't really talk no sports, right? I was kind of looking forward to having, talking with the Lakers and doing or something, That's
my team. We can come on again. We can just talk NBA. There's no problem. I wanted to do
it's all good.
We can talk sports. We all do. You know what I mean? We can definitely do that. You're welcome anytime you want to come on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But anyway, Melvin, again, I want to thank you so very much for coming on my show. I truly love the Temptations, and it brings back so many great memories, man. And it almost brings me to tears when I think about it. You know what I mean? Because my dad was alive back then. You know what I mean? So, I think about things like that, and I'm so glad that you guys are keeping it going. You know what I mean? Because what a tremendous legacy that they provide all of us. And, some of the youngsters who didn't get a chance to see them when they were in their heyday, now they can learn and never forget. So what you are doing is such a great thing. And I want to give my kudos to you, Mr. Leonard, the review, and all that you guys are doing. And folks, I hope you all get a chance to go check these guys out. They're phenomenal. And again, Melvin, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Best believe I'm telling you the truth. Thank you for having me. Welcome you on my show. And anytime you want to come on, you are welcome. Anything you got going on, just come hit me up. You got that. And remember this: if you want to talk NBA, you better come correct.
Yes, sir. Before I go, I want to say really quickly, happy belated birthday to my brother from another, Glenn Leonard Jr. Yesterday was his birthday.
Oh, okay.
Happy birthday to my brother. And, there are other juniors that are out here doing their thing, So just be on the lookout. Paul Williams Jr. is out there making noise. Said Glenn Leonard Jr. is making noise. C.J. Jefferson, who is the godson of Dennis Edwards, and was mentored by him for 20 plus years. He's making noise. Everybody knows David Ruffin Jr. So again, it's not just me. I appreciate, the support, the love. But it's not just me. Just like it wasn't just my father.
Right. Well, Melvin, again, I want to thank you so very much for coming on my show. Again, you got an open invitation. You want to talk sports? We can do that. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But again, thank you for coming on. You made my day, my brother. Take care. God bless.
Thank you, sir.
You got it. Thank you so much. Great show. What a great show. Folks, like I said, man, what a legacy. What a legacy. The Temptations, man. That brings me back again. Wow. What fond memories. You know what I mean? Back in them days with think about it. You had all them you had Diana Ross, the Supremes, Smokey Robinson, the Ford. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And they were a part of that circle. Again, dealing with the segregation and the civil rights movement and all that they had to go through, to make it easier for the entertainers of today. Just like when I do my sports show, I claim that I am a historian, and we talk about all these guys making millions and millions and millions of dollars. game management, restaurant, whatever the heck, whatever you want to call it. Back in them days, it was a whole different ball game. You know what I mean? And I know that. And because I've been following the NBA since 1969. I ain't gonna tell you how old I am. But you know what I mean? So I know what they had to go through, where they couldn't eat at the same restaurants as their fellow players. They couldn't drink the same water. I know. I had Sam Jones, the great Sam Jones, on my show, and I was damn in my man had me in tears. Let me tell you something right now. And I was honored to have the great Sam Jones. You know, you talk about Russell had 11 rings. Sam Jones had 10. No one. Sam Jones had 10 rings. For real. Look it up. He had 10 rings. But anyway, again, this was about Melvin Franklin Jr. and Melvin Franklin. And, you know, I worked real hard trying to get guests. And, you know, no one's ever told me no. Some of them just don't respond. But I'm trying my best to bring the best that I can to the viewers who take the time to tune into my show. And, you know, again, I could not do this without my producer. And I always talk about her, Key Williams. Without her, I couldn't do a damn thing. So I give a shout out to her. You know what I mean? Because, folks, this is supposed to be a sports talk show. But, you know, when I expressed to Key and everybody else that I want my show to make an impact, that's why I have the guests that I have. And I try to be diversified. And, of course, you know, I'm going to talk sports. That's my number one thing. But I want a lot of podcasts, they do one specific thing. But I want mine to be a little different and be a little bit more diversified. So, folks, again, I want to thank you for tuning in. What a great show. You know, I'm honored and privileged to be able to bring guests like Melvin and Donnell Alexander, who's all over the world. And a lot of my guests that I've had on, the great former NBA players. And, you know, it's been an honor and a privilege. And I'm going to keep busting my behind and try to get you guys the best guests that I possibly can. And I love what I do. I have a great producer who allows me to do what I do. And, you know, again, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in to my show. Keep tuning in Fridays, 6 p.m. live. And, you know, here on the network, we got some good shows. Like tonight, 9 o'clock, we got Courtside View where, oh, Lord have mercy, we have a crew and a half. You know what? You will be informed. You definitely will be entertained. I give you that. But they're very knowledgeable. And we talk about current. I guess we're going to be talking about the playoff implications, postseason awards, and possibly, who knows? That's what you never know what's going to come up. Y'all tune in tonight live here on the Sports Wave Network. I guarantee you will be entertained. Well, folks, I've said enough. Thank you for coming, watching my show. I do greatly appreciate it. You know, keep tuning in because we're going to have some more great guests. And tune in tonight to the Courtside View. Here she is right here.
You got another show. You got another guest coming on after this, right?
I think I'm so busy, man. That's why I have here as my producer.
I was about to say you can't leave yet.
Oh, okay. Well,
he didn't come on yet though, and it's not quite 7, so you good.
All right. Well, I got the boss telling me I got another guest, and this guest coming.
You forgot?
No, I didn't forget. Hey, I got emotional for my last guest. He was good. He was very good. Yeah, my next guest here will be coming on is Mark Otterman. I have a hard time pronouncing his last name, but he's former athletic director at Taunton High School for over 22 years. And what he's bringing is something unique. I'll let him talk about it, but something unique. And for all the parents out there that might want their kids to learn a craft, because he says one thing, and that's why I'm gonna tell you why I wanted him on my show. He said, Mike, you know what? One day, y'all gonna be told you can't play anymore. One day, y'all gonna be told, whether it be high school, whether it be college, you're not gonna be able to play. But if you still love the game and you want to be part of the game, you can become an official, where you can do that for a long period of time, a lot longer than when y'all as a player. You can still, remain part of the game. But he has a
That's why
unique concept.
that's why I do what I do for these kids of mine.
And see, hey, don't get it twisted. Key's a great coach, and she coaches some little young ones.
Yeah, I
We'll
got
have
the
her
little
on there
guys. I got the I got the
about that.
eight, I got the 8-year-olds.
That's not. She got the 8-year-olds.
Well, I go as young as 6. I have a 6-year-old on my team.
Now, boss. How long you been coaching these young ones?
So it started. So before I moved back to Pennsylvania, I started in Jersey. I actually had Jalen when he was 7. Well, no, Jalen played basketball for the first time at 7. So I didn't coach him then. I had him the next year. So about 8. So he's 18 now. You do the math.
Mm. Now, boss. Let
So
me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question before that. What made you decide? Hey, look, I'm going to coach. I want to coach these young kids. What made you decide to do that?
so like I said, if it's not football, you always ask what's my favorite sports. Football, of course, is going to be before basketball. I don't play football. I just like football, but basketball will always be my second. I played basketball, so of course I always had love for the game. Um, I wasn't the scorer. I was your Dennis Rodman type. I got you the rebounds. I got you. I'll get you 2 or 3 buckets here and there. But I was mainly the person that got the rebounds and dished it out to the scorers. That was my job. So, um, but yeah, I just like the game of basketball. I was like, well, what can I do to help with these kids? And I like whether it's can do something for them, get them off the streets, have a role model, do whatever I can do. So the one day, um, after Jay was in the what's called the in-house league, you're not good enough to play travel, but you still need some skills.
Mm-hmm.
So he got put on that team. And for the first time, I seen him play basketball. So when he was 7, he scored his first bucket. He didn't know what he was doing, falling all over the place, everything else. So but it started from there, and as I seen him progress, and then once I had him, he was MVP that year. That year he grew, he developed his shot. That's when I found out he shoots left-handed, but he's right. He's been dominantly right-handed. He shoots left-handed. That's when I found that out. And that's when Big Nasty was born. He got you rebounds. He got you points. Like I said, he can shoot the ball. We was trying to get him to post up. Then he made it the next year. He made it to the travel team, and then after that, he hung up his jersey. He said, "I don't want to do basketball no more." He went into football. Then that's when I moved back to PA, and that was all she wrote. My township I was in, it was looking for coaches. They was bringing back for basketball because back '90s was the last 1999 was the last time they won a championship. My very first time coaching, I had the 8U. We went We didn't lose no games, but we lost in the first round of the playoffs.
Mhm.
My second year, I moved up to the tens, and then I moved back down to the eights. They like me at the 8U level because the way I interact with them, I'm better with the eights. I prefer the eights because one, they don't got egos. Two, they still sort of coachable and they listen. Three, they don't think they LeBron James and Steph Curry. So with me is I teach them. I keep it simple. I don't throw 99 things at them. We got one. Well, this year I couldn't do 2 inbounds play, but the year we won the championship, remember 1999. I
Mhm.
won it in 2024. 2024 from 1999 to 24. You do the math.
Wow, that's
That's
like
how
24
long it's
years.
been. So that team was good. I mean, that was the team. So we won by a buzzer beater in the championship. This age, so, I mean, this group of kids now I had didn't really play. Like it's about a bunch of first years, so I have to keep it simple. We got one inbounds play.
Hmm.
It's all it is just a stack at the foul line. That's all it is.
Okay.
We don't do the regular stack, like a regular stack. We just stack it up from the foul line. When you
Yeah.
say break, the two in the middle go towards the box, and the guards at the end they pop out. So
Mhm.
if the inbounder don't see them at the bottom, they can pop out, make a shot, or whatever. It's just a stack from the foul line. I keep it simple, and
Yeah.
the kids they do six. Six. I know you hear it all the time. 6, 7. That was the name of the play, Mike. Con, that was the name of the play. It's something the kids can relate to. They hear 6, 7, they're gonna remember it.
I
So
like them.
I keep it simple to where they can grasp. It's another play we got called YouTube. All the kids is on YouTube watching something. So I keep it simple. When we're talking about defense, I tell them, do not, I said, this is your house. Don't let nobody come in your house to take your controller to your Xbox. Because what happens when the defender come into your house, they steal your controller, and what now? You can't play your game, right? So I
That's
gotta
simple.
keep it relatable.
Yes, absolutely.
And I see that your 7 o'clock guest is in, so I'm gonna go back behind the scenes and we're gonna bring up your guest.
Thanks, boss. Whew. Again, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Wave Network and Sports Corner with the Conn Man. As you know, I am the Conn Man. And with me this evening, I have with me a very special guest. He goes by the name of Mark Manelli. Mark, how you doing, first of all?
I'm doing great. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing good. Just got done with a great guest from one of the co-founders of Temptation, son Melvin Franklin Jr. Great show. And now I have you. Now,
That is awesome. He made a lot of good. I just jumped in at the end here.
yeah,
He made a lot of good points on dealing with young athletes.
yeah, he definitely did.
Simple, how to keep it, make it enjoyable for them, make them understand. I was only in there for like a minute or two, but I was totally impressed.
Well, she is the bomb, and she posted her kids play and the wins and the loss. She's just a great coach and great person. Now, what you're doing, I think is very unique. And then, first, before we go there, let the viewers know a little bit about yourself and what you've done and what you are doing right now.
Okay, so it's long story short. I grew up in New Bedford. I mean, we grew up together almost. I mean, we knew each other way back in the day, 45 plus years ago, 50 plus years ago. Oh my God, we're getting old. I started out coaching and teaching. I started out coaching college. Well, started out at a Parkwood High School way back when, but ended up at UMass Dartmouth, SMU at the time as an assistant coach. I spent 14 years in college basketball, 5 as the head men's basketball coach at Massasoit Community College in Brockton. And all that time I was teaching. I ended up going back to school, get certified in math, certified in business, got my administrative degree. I ended up going to Coyle and Cassidy High School for 2 years as the athletic director and the boys basketball coach. And then I jumped ship and went cross town to the rival. And I'm a Taunton Tiger. I was the athletic director at Taunton High School for 22 years and had a fantastic run there. Great people, great kids. Really enjoyed my time there. We were able to do a lot of good things there, bring Taunton onto the scene. We had some phenomenal kids go through that place, and just very, very proud of what we were able to accomplish, not only for, with our student athletes, teams, staff, our facilities are top notch. It was just a fun ride. I'm very, very grateful for that opportunity. And like I said, you don't stay in a place for 22 years unless it's pretty good. It was very good.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time, I also officiated off and on. So someone's going to tell you somewhere along the line that you can't play anymore. Somewhere. Doesn't matter whether it's middle school, high school, college, professional. Somewhere along the line, they're going to tell you you can't play anymore. It's not your choice. You might get hurt. You might not be good enough. Time and place. That happened my freshman year in college. I tried out for the SMU baseball team. I wasn't good enough. Didn't make the team. So how was I going to stay involved in sports? So I ended up taking the basketball test, passed the basketball test, become a basketball official. Ended up taking the baseball test, became a baseball umpire. I did that for a number of years at the local levels, doing youth, never did Little League or anything like that, youth basketball, but did, summer leagues, high school, American Legion baseball, Bristol County League in Fall River. There was a lot of good leagues in the area. And then after, I don't know, probably about 15 to 20 years in, I decided to take the college baseball test. So took the college baseball test. It was going to be a one-shot deal. I was either going to pass it and move on to that next level, or I was going to stay a high school umpire and official. I was fortunate enough to pass it, pass the written exam, pass the field test, and I was able to spend 20 years in college baseball.
That's incredible. Wow.
So, and I was very, very fortunate that the people I worked for allowed me to keep that going. So I'm very grateful to the people at Taunton High, New Bedford High School, where I taught. Prior to that, I went to New Bedford High School, to Coyle Cassidy High School, to Taunton High School, and they were very supportive in me being able to continue that on a part-time basis.
Mm-hmm.
But it enabled me to do things that I never thought I was be able to do. College, I worked in the Cape League, Cape Cod Baseball League.
I'm going to bring that up. What was that experience like?
What's that?
What was that experience like?
Oh, it was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Every night, the running joke was quick. I got time to tell a quick story?
Of course.
All right. So I'm at Chatham. I'm doing the plate. There's a kid, John, who's the catcher from Wareham at Chatham. John introduces himself to me before the game starts. He goes, "How many years you been in the league?" I said, "I don't know. It's probably 17, 18 now." He said, "You must have seen a lot of good players." I said, Absolutely. He goes, "You getting into any beefs with anybody?" I said, "John, you have to understand that no matter what I do, I'm stopping, in their opinion, I'm stopping them from getting $1 million contract."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because all those kids that are playing, all the scouts there, they're all first and second round draft picks in the major leagues. So, I mean, some of the names that we talk about did the plate with Chris Sale pitching, Walker Bueller, Sean Mania, George Springer was an outfielder for Wareham. Kyle Schwarber was an outfielder for Wareham. All these major league people. Aaron Judge played for Brewster.
Wow.
So all these guys that everyone's watching on TV, they're all young kids in college trying to make a name for themselves.
Right.
So I said to him, I'm stopping people, in their opinion, getting contracts no matter what I do. Someone's always going to be mad at me. So the game goes along pretty well. And we're in the seventh inning, eighth inning. I don't remember exactly. And there's a left-handed batter up for Chatham. And the count's 2-1. And the pitcher throws a pitch right on the outside corner. Boom. Call it a strike. The batter turns around and starts arguing. The 2-2 pitch. Now, John had he put it in the same spot because he knew I was going to call that pitch if it was close. Because the batter gave me a hard time. But the pitch was he had to turn his glove. He had to turn his hand. He had to turn it just like this. So when he does that, now that becomes 4 or 5 inches outside. I can't call that a strike. The pitcher starts arguing with me. No, just complaining. Not arguing, but complaining. And John turns around and goes, "Boy, you weren't kidding." I go, it all depends. So it was a great experience. We started out, my first year on the college baseball board was the year that the guy that we worked for got the Cape League as the assigner 2 days before the season start. And living in New Bedford, I'm close to the Cape. We worked 40 games.
Wow.
Night. So, I mean, that not only did that help me progress and become a better umpire, but I was fortunate enough to do 5 Division III regionals, NCAA Division III regionals, and I went to the College World Series in Appleton, Wisconsin in 2014, Division III. So, like I said, I worked with some great people that allowed me to do that. People at school were great. I had a lot of great mentors, both on the high school level when I first started out and college level. A lot of people were good to me along the way.
Wow. That's a huge career.
So let me tell you one other thing. Okay? The other sport, I officiated another sport, field hockey. Okay, one of the best sports ever to officiate, because not too many people know the rules.
I know I don't.
You blow the whistle, you point, and everybody runs the other way. Nobody gives you a hard time. It's awesome.
And you were doing 2 games a night, right?
In the Cape League?
No, field hockey.
Oh, field hockey, yes. Yeah. So you do the JV game, or you do the varsity game first, and then you do the JV game right after. The weather's great in the fall. It's beautiful in the fall. You're out in good weather. Like I said, nobody gives you a hard time, and you can work 5 to 6 days a week. To this day, you can still do that.
That's true. That's very true. Now, Mark, you had a distinguished career as an AD. You talked about your officiating and umpiring as well. Okay, now you're retired. What do you do now? What at that time when you retired, what is it that you wanted to accomplish, since you accomplished damn near everything already? What is it that you wanted to do?
So you have to remember where you come from and how you got there. I'm a big believer in that. And people were very good. Like I said to you before, people were very good to me. I could list name after name after name. People are good to me, helping me out along the way. I'm still quote young. I'll be 61 next week.
Wow.
Quote, still young.
Yes, but you are.
How can I help? How can I return the favor to another kid or someone else that's interested in doing this? Whether it's in the athletic administrative field, whether it's in the coaching field, whether it's in the officiating field. So I was very fortunate, like I said, to work with a lot of good people. We have started a company called Good Call Officiating Academy, and this started with my business partner, Chris Green Sr. Chris is an amazing person. He was my go-to guy at Taunton High School. He was my event manager. So, like I said, big facility, 3 courts downstairs in the field house, 2 courts upstairs. Right? A lot of basketball, a lot of AAU tournaments, a lot of rentals. Chris was my go-to guy. He was my guy that would take care of everything, so I wouldn't have to be there. And he came up to me one day and he goes, all these people are coming in and making money. What can we do to help our kids make money? Then we started thinking. So it took a while, but now they became scorers and timers in the AAU basketball games. So those games run from Saturday morning at 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock Saturday night.
Wow.
And then Sunday morning, 8 a.m. to probably 7 o'clock at night every weekend. So now the kids started out as scorers and timers. Now we started thinking, okay, how do we get them to become officials? So this whole process probably took about a good 7 or 8 years to figure it out, on how to get it into the school system and how to teach our kids to become officials. So we started off, we did a course. One of the teachers was a official. He taught the course, but he was a math teacher. They had to go back and forth. He had to teach his math class. He couldn't stay. It was just, we ran into a number of different obstacles. Okay. Then COVID hit. So then we're back to square one. So okay, how do we do this? And one of the big things was that we didn't have the setup in the educational process that school systems needed for a course. And it worked out very well. A company called RefReps now is the main rules provider in technology and education for the National Federation of High School Sports. They have all the sports across the board. So they do the rule books. And in their curriculum, they had learning objectives. They had videos. They had modules to discuss the rules. They had the tests. They had the quizzes. They had everything that an assistant superintendent in charge of curriculum would want. Everything that the department chairperson would want. So we were able to start it as a pilot at Taunton High School when I was still working there. That first year that we did it, that was my last year as the athletic director. We had started it during that year. And the kids did fantastic. They refereed soccer. They refereed basketball. They refereed, they officiated unified sports. And I don't know if people know what unified sports is, but it's the special education students. Okay. They became role models in that with those kids. Now they're refereeing each other's games, and now they're talking to the kids in school. They're making them feel included. It was such a good thing. So I was fortunate that I was able to retire when I did. I didn't expect to retire in that year, that end of that year, 2 years ago. I'm on my second year being out. I got lucky. I was fortunate. I was able to do it. So when I left, we kept this going. And like I said, Chris Green came up with the idea. This was his idea from the start. He's dedicated to this, not only the kids at Taunton High School, but the kids in the community. And he goes, how do we get this going? We decided to come up with Good Call Officiating Academy, which what we do now is we're available to school systems to put this in place. And Taunton was our experiment, our pilot program. The first year, the kids made $36,000 in scoring, timing, and officiating.
Folks, you hear that? You hear that, folks?
Okay, that was the first year. The second year, it went to $65,000. So now we're in our third year, and our total for the 2+ years, and this is going to go up. Our expectations are way higher than this, but as of last Sunday, our kids have made $137,454 in 2+ years. And they've worked over 5,932 assignments over that 2+ years. So now schools are starting to ask, because our line was Taunton. I'm using Taunton as the example. Taunton money is going to stay with Taunton kids. We're going to pay that money out. The recreation departments, the youth leagues, the travel ball, the little leagues, they're going to pay that money out. They're going to pay somebody.
Right.
Why can't we pay our own kids? Why can't we train our own kids?
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And this was Chris's idea. Chris was the idea guy, and we worked great together. He was the idea guy, and I was the guy that was like, okay, how do we figure it out, and how do we put it into school systems? So this year, we're working with 5 school systems in the area: Durfee, Dartmouth, Case High School in Swansea, Southeastern Voc, and Taunton. And then next year, we're going to add another 5 schools. Mansfield, Bishop Stang, Bourne, West Bridgewater, and Apponequet have signed on. it's become amazing. It's so good. It's been so good for our kids. So we've had like not everyone is cut out to do it. You know
No,
that. You've done this
no,
for a long
no.
time. You have to have a thick skin.
Yes, indeed.
And I tell the kids you got to have the glazed donut look, and they look at me and they go, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, what is a glazed donut? You put glaze over it. You got to have that glazed donut look. You can't show your emotion."
Exactly.
Okay. So we've been telling kids since COVID, okay, express your feelings. Let us know how you feel. We need to know what's going on in it. We're telling the kids the direct opposite. Can't do it. Control your emotions. Don't speak back. How do you handle yourself? Everything that we've been taught since day one. Now you have a captive audience. Schools have a captive audience in the classroom because they're there. And it's become a phys ed elective in some schools.
Wow.
So, and the need for this, as you know, okay, we're still the young guys. Me and you, Michael, we're the young guys.
Yes.
That's a problem. That's a problem with me being 61. I don't want to tell everybody your age because you're right.
Thanks.
But that's a problem.
It is.
It's a problem. And nobody's coming back. Nobody's coming in because they don't want to deal with the aggravation. Youth sports is $1 billion business.
It is. It definitely is.
It's $1 billion business. But unless we get these young kids involved, and we're not going to get everybody, we're going to get a few, and then it's going to grow. And like we started out small. And when one kid starts, hey, where do you work? When I talk to the kids, who has a part-time job? They all raise their hand. What do you do? I work at Walmart. I work at Dunkin' Donuts. Okay, I work at McDonald's. I work at Home Depot. Okay, what do you make? Well, we make minimum wage, $16 an hour. I said, okay, the least you're going to make if you work a recreation game is $20 for an hour game. You're going to make $20 for the recreation games. You're going to make $35 for the AAU games. You're going to make $50 for the travel ball games. Some places are cash. So the kids love that when they can go and
You know that.
we all love that. Cash games, cash game, right? Then you get to the sub-varsity, junior varsity, freshman, and middle school games. Next year is going to be $80. If they progress, now they're going to get varsity games. If they're good enough, now it's $105. Next year, I believe. 104, 105, somewhere around there. So the opportunities as juniors and seniors and freshmen in college are there to make some good money. The parents are going to love it.
Yeah, and Mark, what you're doing is you're bringing awareness. I remember when I was no one came to my high school. No one told me about the officiating. You know what I mean? And what you're doing now, especially like you said, we're the young guys. We should be having, and what you're doing now is giving knowledge to these kids while they're in high school. And as you said, and I said to my boss, Key Williams, who came on before you, when you told me this last week at the infamous Steve Burgos' house, there's going to come a time when someone's going to tell you, you can no longer play. Right. But if you still want to be part of the game, and now, the playing career is short-lived. As an official, you could be doing it as long as you're healthy and you're good. And you talked about being accountable, which I want you to talk about, because that was great. What you said at the Burgers, that is important. But
so
you could go and stay your career.
You're absolutely 100% right. And do you know what the national average age of a sports official is right now? This came from the National Association of Sports Officials, Referee Magazine. They did a national survey. You have any idea what that age is?
No, I do not.
57.34.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Okay. So, and that's across the country. So why is that? Kids learn differently now than we did. Like we went every Tuesday night for 10 weeks.
Absolutely.
3-hour class.
Yes.
That's not going to happen. The kids nowadays aren't going to go there.
They're too busy on their remotes and on their.
Well, everything's based on this.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Everything's based on the computer.
Exactly.
On the phone. Everything's digital.
Yes.
This is the way it's going now. We have to change. A lot of people haven't changed.
True.
In all different sports, they haven't changed. They want to keep it the old way. Well, as an athletic administrator, I didn't care who did the games as long as I had qualified officials.
Exactly.
I didn't care if they were board certified, had credentials. As long as they had credentials to do it and they could do a good job, I wanted them there. That's the assigner's responsibility, not the board's, in my opinion.
That's true.
Everyone thinks it's the boards are there to train and recruit. The assigners are there to assign. As an administrator, I'm hiring the assigner to get quality people there. I don't care how he gets them there. So when I was at Taunton High School, and we're a member of the Hockomock League, which basically goes from Taunton, Franklin, Attleboro, North Attleboro, Milford, Sharon, King Philip, Foxborough, Canton, Oliver Ames, all very good league. I probably forgot somebody, and I apologize. I was in charge of girls basketball.
Okay.
Now, as each AD has a sport. No disrespect to the two 80-year-old guys that came in to do our girls' JV basketball game one day. Because if we didn't have them, we wouldn't have had a game. True. But it's not fair to the girls. It's not fair to the kids at any level. So instead of complaining about it, what are we going to do about it? So we're fortunate to have that connection with the Hockomock League. After I retired, we started a pilot program where myself and Chris would work with two of our student officials. I'd go to one place, Chris would go to the other place. We'd bring a kid with us, and we do the sub-varsity girls games. The kids get up and down the court. Don't get everything right, but they get up and down the court. Now they're in position. They're not trailing the play. They're not hanging in soccer. They're not hanging back, way back. They're able to run. They're switching on fouls. They're doing all the things that they're supposed to do. So now the coaches were thrilled because they might not get every call right, or they might not like every call, but they're in the spot. They're in position. And that's why
as we know, that's very crucial because, it's all about positioning, angles, and, like you said, being able to work hard, run the court, get to the end line, the baseline, whatever you want to call it, is crucial because now you're in the proper place, the proper position, the proper angle. Now, coach or someone may disagree with your call, but you as an official, as long as you know that you are in the right place at the right time and you made the call that you deem the right call, you can live with that. But if y'all taking a half hour to get down the end of the court and y'all making calls from half court when you should be the lead, well, I don't think people know what we're talking about. But you know what I'm talking about. Then
they're not in position.
All right, that's better. I should have used that. That's a better terminology than I would. But anyway, you're absolutely correct. Okay, now I'm gonna be not devil's advocate, but I'm gonna play like I don't know what's going on. Okay, so you said y'all in 5 different schools.
Before you do that,
Okay.
I want to go back to one thing that you said, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
Accountability.
Yes.
Okay. So we're teaching the kids how to be accountable because they have to show up on time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They have to be prepared. They have to know the rules. They have to be in condition. They have to be able to handle themselves in difficult situations. So this is all stuff that we talk about in class. And we will do, little, I guess, I don't have a better word for it, but like little skits.
Okay.
Where, we get a coach that's out of control and it's going to start yelling and screaming at you in class. Or we tell, okay, Michael, you're going to run. You're going to give the official a hard time. See how he reacts. We're doing a lot of role playing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that'll teach him the accountability piece. But it's also, you have to call your partner. You have to make sure that you're going to get there on time. You have to make sure that when you're there, you are polite, you are respectful. Okay? The first thing we do is we teach kids how to shake hands. Good firm handshake, eye to eye, speak clearly. Mr. Consatio, nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm here to do your game today. First impression is everything.
Absolutely.
Okay? They're walking in. They're dressed appropriately, whatever sport they're officiating. And they walk in and they see either the site administrator or the home team coach and the visiting coach and introduce themselves. Now that's the first thing. Now you caught the coach off guard. Now they can't be mad. Hey, I'm here to do your game today. I'm going to give you a good effort. I'm going to get up and down the court. Now when they see him running up and down the court, they're going to be, the temperature of the game goes down.
Absolutely.
Now you have to show up on time.
Yes. Now, before you go into that, I'm going to tell you something. I've been refereeing for over 45 years. Now, I no longer do high school like I used to, but I'm just going to give you an example about accountability. I've been doing the Burgo Basketball League for this is going to be year number 32. To give the viewers, yes, I know. To give the viewers a little idea what he's talking about. I referee with a guy by the name of Masadi Caldwell. I don't know if you ever heard of him. But anyway, talking about being accountable. He started off as a great ball player at New Bedford High School, ended up going to Rhode Island, playing with Providence Central, playing with a great deal of talent there. Went on to play at, he went University of New Hampshire, played at UMass Dartmouth. Great ball player. Now, we're talking about after his career was over and he still wanted to be part of the game, he took up officiating. Mm-hmm. And this past 2 years ago, matter of fact, the last two, he got official of the year in Rhode Island. And now he's doing junior college and going to work his way up. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to tell you about accountability. A lot of times, summer league, you have referees coming in, game starts at 6. You were talking about that last week. And you got people coming in 6:05, 5:06. My man, Masadi, will pick me up to this day. He'll be doing this this summer, man, at 5:15. Okay? And the BBA complex is 5 minutes away. Let me tell you, and it's like this. Mike, I'm going to be at your house at such and such a time. You better be ready because I'm leaving. That's accountability. I know that. I always knew it. I'm accountable anyway. But this is what I'm talking about, accountability. So when he would get there, stretches, does everything you're supposed to pregame, as opposed to walking, sneakers not tied, shoes not tied, shirt out, which I can't stand the referees doing. But anyway, things of that nature, you know what I mean? And being accountable is such a crucial thing because, again, you're not only messing your own credibility, you're not looking out for your partner. Your partners end up doing the game by himself or starting the game. And if you keep on doing it, I think that's such, and that happens a lot.
Well, I'll give you a quick story. We had a kid, student official. We assigned him to an 8:00 Saturday morning game. It was a bad assignment on our part. We knew he wasn't going to get there. So we should have gave him the 12:00 game, not the 8:00.
Right.
But we did. We're going to see where it goes. Of course, he didn't make it. So he got a 2-week vacation. Okay? Which hurt him because that hurt him in his pocket.
Exactly.
Okay? So then he comes back, okay, because you always give people second and third chances. He comes back, and the accountability piece. He was doing the $50 game, which he didn't go up for. Now he's going to go back to the $20 game. Okay? So then he calls. He wakes up. His game was at noontime. He had 3 games that afternoon at a recreation league. Calls up and he calls Chris up and he goes, "Coach, I got a flat tire. I can't get there. And I have to pick up Patrick, my partner." Ooh. So Chris is in Boston because he has family in Boston. I'm in line trying to get a haircut. I got a phone call from Chris. Yep, they can't get there. All right, I go pick the kid up. I go pick up the other kid, and I get him there. So there was some accountability there. They did the right thing.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, this young man ended up missing another game. So when you do that, you really can't trust people, and the accountability is we're going to go with people. He might come back and work someday, but we're going to go with the kids that are going to show up every day.
And you know what happens? Not a lot of times, which is another, because, okay, let's say you are the assigner and you assign officials to work. Like at the Burgos, we have 5 courts operating and the games go 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that's 4 games. Now, a lot of times, as you know, I'm speaking on behalf of the summer league. There's all kinds of leagues going on. So officials are not that many, if you know what I'm trying to say. So when you assign an official to a game and he doesn't show up, a lot of times his partner might have to do 4 games by himself. Correct. And a lot of occasions, the assigner doesn't have the ability, because we have 5 courts. So he might not be able to get someone, because sometimes it's no call, no show, as you brought up last week. Sometimes they can't get another official in short notice. And that's, again, and some people won't even call. But then that's what you're talking about, accountability. Now, what I wanted to ask you, because we ain't got much time, we could talk about 10 hours. What I want to do, have you on the show, again, I'm going to go like this. Now, you talked about having 5 schools. Now, this show was seen all over the country, thank God. And if people want to get involved in what you're doing, I'm going to ask you, okay, you said they're in schools. Who teaches these classes? And how does that operate? 5 different schools. How do you guys determine who teaches the class? I'm being devil's advocate. So how does that work?
That depends upon, that's the choice of the individual school system.
Oh, okay.
Okay. How it fits into their schedule. Is it a phys ed teacher? Is that phys ed teacher an official? You don't have to be. With the way the curriculum is set up now, through all the computer and the turnkey knowledge, everything's done right online. We will go in and help that teacher. If they're not an official, we will go in and help that teacher, especially like in the mechanics piece for basketball. So we've gone into a number of different schools, myself and Chris, and taught them about trail and lead, coverage area. So we get out on the court with the kids. We have people come in to help them out, help the teacher out if they're not an official in that sport or they're not a coach in that sport. So it all depends. It varies from school to school based upon the schedule and the interest of the kids.
Again, I'm playing like I don't know what's going on.
Right.
How do you get the 5 schools? Do you go and talk to the administrator at these schools prior to, In other words,
it's been by word of mouth. It's been by word of mouth because we did a nice job of publicizing what was going on at Taunton High School. So, one example of how it works is the curriculum coordinator at Southeastern Vogue. Her kids play in Taunton. So they're younger and they play the travel ball and the recreation leagues. And she saw our kids working. So she went up to Chris and said, how do I get this into my school?
Wow.
Because now, not only one of the big things, we talk about all the soft skills that have come up about this. Okay? But it's like, you should see how the kids now they're officiating the younger kids' games in their communities. Okay? Now those kids are coming to watch the high school kids who are refereeing their games on Saturdays and Sundays play Tuesdays and Friday nights.
Ain't that something?
Because now that the kids have become officials and they've learned the rules and they've gotten a little taste of it, their behavior when they are playing is 1,000 times better.
Absolutely.
They hand the ball to the official, get to the next play. They're not giving the face. They're not throwing up the arms. They're not, complaining to the official. Hand the ball, get to the next play because they've experienced it with the little kid in the younger games. So now they've become. That's what every school system wants. They talk about their high school kids becoming role models for the middle school kids and the elementary school kids. Now, little Johnny, who's in 3rd grade, wants to come see Michael playing his varsity game on Tuesdays and Friday nights. It gives you that sense of community awareness and community pride.
Mark, that is phenomenal. Let me tell you something. I bet when administrators, coaches, whoever sees this show, they might want to add that to their curriculum at their various schools as well. So hopefully they watch this and I think it's a great idea. I wish I had something like this when I was in high school. Do you know what I mean? So what you guys are doing is such a great thing.
But it was a different time, Michael. Okay.
I know.
We were all involved in that. Okay. And we, like I said before, we had a lot of good mentors. You can rattle off people. Probably like Mr. Berto.
Oh, that was my guy. That was my guy.
Peter Berto, right?
Yes, very good.
There's a number. Chris Green could say Coach Mike Rubin out of East Boston. Okay. I can say people there were a number of people good to me. Lefty Duval, John McKenna. Okay. I'm giving you all those names from the area. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Nick Zabelli, who was my college baseball assigner. There were a lot of good people.
Yes.
A lot of people to work with. I was able to make friends all over the country. They were very good to us. We now need to be good to the kids coming up. And this is a different way of learning than when we did, but it's all the same. They were mentors to us. We need to be mentors to them. My wife makes a good point all the time. She said to me, "You never worked a day in your life." And you know what? She's not wrong. Okay, my full-time job was I hung out with kids and I went and played games.
That's true.
Right? Being in athletics in high school and college. You hung out with kids and you played games. My part-time job, I hung out with kids and I played games. In the officiating world. She wasn't wrong.
No, not at all. Now, let me ask you another question. Mm-hmm. Okay, you're in 5 schools right now, and you're going to get 5 next year, and you're probably going to get more and more and more. Do they all follow the same curriculum, or they just do it the way
their curriculum is going to be based on the Ref Reps National Federation rules. So they have the sports rules in that particular sport. How they implement it depends upon their schedule. Does that make sense to you? Because some schools might have, it might be a phys ed elective, okay, that the kids come 5 days a week for the first semester. So you set up that program. Okay, 5 days in class, going over rules knowledge, going over the videos, going over some role playing. 5 days on the court of the field at getting actual game experience. Some schools, they might meet all year and meet 2 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Some schools might do it as they have what's called a flex period, where they have an hour every day. So the kids want to come in and the kids have to choose something. So it all depends upon the school, and it's very adaptive to what their schedule is and what the kids want to officiate.
I think it's outstanding. And you talked about, giving these kids an opportunity to make some extra money. Parents, struggling. Some parents, have a hard time, and it gives them accountability, responsibility, learn about going to work on time, and I mean, it's such a great thing. And as a high school student, you might not have that much money, and you have an opportunity to make. And if you have the wherewithal and you have the dedication, determination, you can really go ahead and really do well. And you might want to end up wanting to be a high school official or a collegiate. I mean, the ceiling is up to you, and I think it's a great thing.
That's what we've been able to do. The other thing that we do with Good Call Officiating Academy is we try to find out work opportunities for the kids once they're ready.
Yes.
So we're not going to throw them into a level that they're not ready for.
Right.
Because then it's a bad experience, and then they don't want to do it again.
Oh,
Okay. So
that's true.
If me and you are in the class, okay, and I'm, we'll have them, we'll evaluate them on a court situation, in a scrimmage situation, or on the field, and we'll say, okay, Mark, you're probably ready for 3rd and 4th grade. You need a little more work. We're going to start you off at this level. Okay. Michael, you're pretty good. We can move you to the 7th and 8th grade level right away. But we're not going to put a kid into a spot or with somebody as a mentor, as a partner, that isn't going to take care of that student official. And they are not going to be able to handle the level that they are at. Now, sometimes stuff happens. I'm the AD at Taunton High School. Kara, the AD at Franklin High School, calls me and said, you started this was our first year doing this. You got that officiating class you talked about. Yep. Okay, it's 12:30. Freshman soccer game at Franklin, Taunton at Franklin's at 3:30. The official, we had one official for the game. That official just called out sick. If you can't put 2 of your kids on the bus, we can't play. So now me and Chris scramble. We get 2 kids. Okay, they're all set. They got we got them uniforms because they didn't bring them to school that day. They didn't think they were going to officiate. So we make all the arrangements. Okay, you're going to go on the bus. The kids go, we ain't going on the bus, coach. They're going to think we're homers. Impartiality that we talk about all the time, right? We're like, right. Good point.
Very good point.
Okay, well, how are you going to get there? Because I'm not going to drive you.
Right.
So how are you going to get there? Oh, we're going to drive. And you have those oh no moments. So it's like, oh no, what happens if the kid gets into an accident?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, okay, I'm a member of the National Association of Sports Officials. As a member of that, you get $1 million liability insurance. So now we call NASA, talk to somebody there. Our kids are able to get student official subscriptions to memberships at NASA where they are now covered. So we're able to put all those connections.
Wow, that's great.
And then you talk about, you had said it, kids making money. Some have to help out at home.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, all right, we're going to teach them that financial piece.
Very important.
What do you do with that $50 that you made? You did 4 games on Sunday morning. They gave you cash. What are you going to do with that $200? Okay, you got a car. It's going to cost gas, insurance, maintenance. So take care of that because that's how you get to your job. Okay, you got friends. You got social expenses. We want you to have a good time.
Right.
You're going to have money to go out with your friends and do social things.
Yep.
But what are you doing to save? What are you doing that will? So think of some, and we let the kids decide. Like, okay, what do you do? Do you of that $200? Do you take 50 and put it in for the week for your car? Another 50 or 100 for your driving up to getting DoorDash and all the things that the kids do now, right?
Yeah.
Going out with your friends, the whole works. What are you doing with that last $50? Are you putting it in a bank account? Are you investing it somehow, some way? So we'll have people come into the schools to talk about that also.
That is awesome. You know, Mike, you're gonna have to come on again, and we get to discuss it even more, because it's such a great thing that you're doing. So I'm definitely gonna ask you to come on again and let us know, update us on whatever it is you're doing. Is there anything you want to let the viewers know, besides we're going to get how they can get in touch with you, or how they can, possibly have that into their school system? And is there anything that maybe I didn't ask you, or maybe something that you wanted to convey to the audience that maybe I didn't give you the opportunity to?
No, I just think this has become an incredible experience. Not only for our student officials, but for people like myself and Chris. This gives us an opportunity to stay involved.
Yeah.
Okay, stay involved and do something good and bring something back to sports, athletics, that we were able to make a good living off of. I'm very, very fortunate.
Yes.
I had a good life. I have a good life. Not had. I have a good life.
Yeah.
I had a great family. My wife was supportive of me doing all this stuff. I mean, we came in. We're very, very fortunate. And now this is an opportunity for us to give back.
Absolutely.
Not only to our communities, but to the sports in general. And people have to understand that these are young kids going out. So if you see one of these young kids, no matter where you are in this country, because people are doing this all over the country now, if you see those young kids working, think twice before you yell and scream at them. Think twice, because we would go up and down the sidelines or up and down the court, talk to the coaches before the game, say, look, student official, don't give him any crap. If he or she makes that mistake, we'll take care of it. But don't, I think it changes the whole atmosphere of what is going on. And especially if we can get young kids involved, like I said, that can get up and down the court, up and down the field. They can make some money. They can make some contacts. Look at our contacts, Michael.
Right? Amazing.
Right?
Amazing.
Right? We were talking about it the other day. I haven't seen you in how long?
Oh, long time.
15, 20 years, right?
Our
contacts go back to when we were teenagers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you make contacts all over the place. You make lifelong friends. Whether you see them every day or you see them 20 years later, I consider you a good friend.
Absolutely.
I always have, So you make those contacts through sports. And this is just the way to get people involved. So I think it's pretty cool.
It definitely is, Mark. And let the viewers know how they can get in touch with you. Because I guarantee when people watch this, they're going to be contacting you. And let them know how they can get involved, how they can get in touch with you, and anything else you want to leave before
probably the best way is to get my email. But with a name like Ottavianelli, it's going to be hard they'll probably mistype it a couple of times. It's MarkOttavianelli 11511 But I'm also on LinkedIn, so you can contact me on LinkedIn.
Again, Mark, man, I didn't know this is where you were involved when I happened to go to the Mr. Burgos' house, and you guys were there. I was shocked, and it was great to see you. And then when I found out what you guys were doing, I said I could have you. And then I told us you got to come on my show because I know I like to have my guests, excuse me, make an impact. And what you guys are doing is making an impact. So, Mark, I want to thank you for
Michael. Thank you. If anybody reaches out to you, please feel free to give them my information. You have my information.
I'm sure they will. You know, I'm doing 4 shows. I'm sure they will. But, Mark, I want to thank you for coming on my show. You're welcome anytime. Hit me up when you got anything coming up or anything that you want to promote, anything going on. You know, you got an open invitation, my friend.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Mark, it was great to you last week. And you know what? What a great thing you're doing. Thank you for coming on my show, my friend. Talk to you soon.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Bye.
Great show. Thank you. That's a good friend of mine, Mark, and he's doing some great things. And, you know, we were talking about that, me and Mr. Burgo, about, you know, how it's great going into the different high schools. And again, you know, what he was saying was, damn, he's 60. I ain't going to tell you my age. I'm older than him. And you know what? We're the young guys. That makes no damn sense. I've been refereeing like over 45 years, and I still refereeing, and I still enjoy it. And, you know, I've been very fortunate. I really can't tell you too many times that I've had bad experiences with coaches or players. Now, I done ref in the hood. I done men's league, you know, 35 and over. In the projects, in the hood, let me tell you, you know, we do we were doing that annual Cape Verdean Independence Day parade activities, and we would have shootouts, basketball shootouts, where we would have teams from Boston, Connecticut, New York. We've had professional ball players come in and play at our park. You know, you heard of the Great Rucker Park? Well, we have one we call, maybe not as legendary, but we do have Monty Park. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to work with, as Mike noted, Mr. Peter Brittle, because he passed away recently, and that was my heart and my soul. You know, he took me under his wing when I was a pimple-faced kid. I was shy, believe it or not, and he got me started, you know, doing the book, doing the clock, on the speaker, on the mic for the games, and officiating. Got me started doing that with him and his son. And that turned into me doing color broadcasting, color commentator for UMass Dartmouth and the Boston Frenzy, who was coached by Kobe Bryant's father. So the contacts I made through officiating, and you know, it's really has, like he said, the contacts. So when you become an official or whatever, you make a lot of contacts, and you get to meet so many great people. And I'm honored and privileged, and I still enjoy refereeing. Believe me, I can't get up and down the court like I used to, but hey, I tell you what, I still give it my best, and no one can ever say that, you know, what do you call it? You know, sometimes you have one ref who goes out and does his job, and the other ref kind of lazy or whatever. You'll never hear that about me. That's one thing you never hear. You may not agree with all my calls, but you best believe I'm gonna be in position. I'm gonna have the correct angle. And since I know the game pretty well after all these damn years, you know, but I'm also not disrespectful at all. You know, I try to be, I guess, understanding and to be sociable, and it seems to have worked for me. Don't work for everybody, but anyway, it's about that time. And again, I want to thank you for tuning into my show, Sports Corner with the Conn Man on the Sports Wave Network. Tonight was a great night. I've had 2 great guests. Melvin Franklin Jr., son of the great, legendary, The Temptations. What a great show that was. And then, of course, I had Mark Ottavinelli, who was a very good friend of mine. And if you watch the show, you see what a great career he's had. And the thing is, before I go, you young people who are watching this, while you're in high school, you develop a skill that you can use until you decide not to, or, to make some extra money. And then it can go as far as you want. I know guys who do football, baseball, basketball, softball, lacrosse, field hockey. I mean, some people just do that. That's what they do. They do each sport and they make a killing. Let me tell you, you can make some damn money. I'll just give you an example and I gotta go. He told you that you can make if you make it to the varsity level, check this out, $105 a game. Now check this out. A lot of the old timers, and I'll go. A lot of old timers, this is what they would do. They would do a freshman game. I forgot how much they make now. I think like 70, 75, whatever it is. And then they would have the JV game. They, take a break, come back and do the varsity game. So that's 2 games, 3 nights a week. Do the math. So you can make a damn good living. And a lot of guys do it. So anyway, my time is up. So, again, thank you for tuning in to the Sports Wave Network. We got one more show tonight. Courtside View at 9 p.m. Whoa, we have a good time. Y'all got to tune in, check it out. It's off the hook, but we have a great time, great crew. And again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Sports Corner with a Conn Man on the Sports Wave Network. Take care. God bless. See y'all next week.